Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Folks, you ever see how the media memory holes stories they don't want to talk about? Remember the Vegas shooting that seems to have disappeared? We never really got to the bottom of what happened there. The Tennessee bombing, stories they covered when they happened, and the media memory holes them. Why? Because there's no good narrative in it for them. There's no way for them to spin it to advance their liberal causes. Yet to this day, we still hear Charlottesville stories, and they're used in terms of a lie that Donald Trump praised white supremacists, which is factually incorrect. The media is a rotting cancer in this country, and they're doing it again right now as they try to memory hole Waukesha, and they're suspiciously quiet about the Ghislaine Maxwell case. Why is that? Kind of odd. Well, we're not going to be quiet about that. I've got a lot on that today. Don't go anywhere. Today's show brought to you by ExpressVPN. Don't let big tech track what you do online. Anonymize your online web presence today. Get a VPN. Go to expressvpn.com/Bongino. Welcome to the Dan Bongino Show. It's a loaded Monday. Joe and Guy are not here today. I'll explain why in a moment. You guys from last week can probably understand why, but I got a lot to get to. Don't go anywhere. Loaded show. Hey, let's get to one of my first sponsors here. I want to talk to you about one of the best gifts you can get for the holiday season. You can rarely go wrong with beautiful and classic jewelry. There's nothing more classic and timeless than fine pearl jewelry that you don't have to spend a fortune on. Big fans of that in this household, right, Parler? Paula's in the studio. At the Pearl Source, you get the highest quality pearl jewelry at 70% off retail prices. Why? Because the Pearl Source cuts out the middleman, eliminating those crazy markups by jewelry stores and selling directly to you, the consumer. With global supply chain problems and shipping carriers expecting major delays and delivery times going up as we get close to the holidays, now's the time to start shopping for the holiday season. Don't wait any longer. The Pearl Source offers fast and free 2-day shipping on every order with zero contact delivery. Everything comes beautifully packaged in an elegant jewelry box, so it's ready to be given as a gift. Not sure if she'll love your gift? No worries. The Pearl Source comes with a no-hassle 60-day money-back guarantee, free shipping, so it's risk-free. Plus, with more than 25 years in the pearl business and nearly 15,000 five-star reviews, you can be sure you're shopping from a trusted company. Get beautiful, beautiful pearl jewelry that's perfect for anyone on your holiday list. Your mom, your sister, your wife, the lovely Paulita. And for a limited time, listeners to my show can take 20% off your entire order. Don't wait. Don't wait till it's too late to do your holiday shopping. Go to thepearlsource.com/Dan and enter promo code Dan at checkout for 20% off your entire order. If you want pearl jewelry at the best prices, then go straight to the source, the Pearl Source. Thepearlsource.com/Dan. Thepearlsource.com/Dan. Enter promo code Dan at checkout. Thanks, Pearl Source. All right, Joe, let's go. I just said Joe's not here, so we're going to have to do the Kenny Bell. The Kenny Bell makes a comeback today. I'll explain why in a little bit. You all deserve to know. You spend time with me, I spend time with you. Mutual trust society, that's what matters. So the media, they love memory holding stories that don't advance their narrative. And then they talk about forever stories they think do, even if they have to lie about them. Like that, what happened in Charlottesville, January 6th. You hear about these stories all the time in the media. Yet suspiciously, we had that bombing in Tennessee. Remember that? Many of you right now, I'll bet, are listening to the show going, yeah, I do remember that. What happened with that? Story's not really discussed that much. The FBI wrapped up their investigation, so you get a full disclosure from me about the info. They said, hey, we acted alone. We don't really have much as regards to motivation. Vegas shooting, we're not much of a motivation there either. But the media doesn't seem too much interested in getting to the bottom of that. You notice that? Yeah, we're still talking about Charlottesville and everything, January 6th and everything else. It's almost as if the media has an agenda, and that agenda is not the truth. That agenda is advancing leftist narratives. Now they're trying to memory hole Waukesha. We're not going to let them do it because there's no advantageous narrative to them. And they're trying to memory hole what's going on right now, the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, of course, in the Jeffrey Epstein case. I'm going to play for you a video quickly. Here's a guy by the name of Nigel Cawthorn. He wrote a book. He throws Donald Trump's name in here, which I don't think has any relationship to the case for any reason. I just want to be clear on that. But here's this Nigel Cawthorn. He's on GB News, and he's talking about why this Jeffrey Epstein's, friend Ghislaine Maxwell, why this trial, why a lot of stuff might come out, because there's some serious names about some people who may have been involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Check this out.
You've written a book about her. You know more about her than most people. When she takes to the stand, which seems likely, there'll be quite a few sweaty palms in various VIP homes around the world, won't there?
I would think so, yes, indeed, because the little black book, which is Ghislaine's not, and Epstein's thing is going to be entered in evidence. And she just knew everybody. We know that Bill Clinton was around. We know that Donald Trump was around. We know that Bill Gates was around. Yes, there's going to be some very embarrassing stuff coming out here.
You see that? He's dropping some serious names there, Nigel Cawthorn. Now, everybody's innocent till proven guilty here. We're not leftists and we're not media lunatics. We don't make up fake narratives. We don't avoid process. We don't indict people before they're given due process. Having said that, there is a growing amount of evidence that Ghislaine Maxwell was working with Jeffrey Epstein to do some very disgusting things involving the sexual abuse of a large number of young women, some girls. The case is disgusting. The best article I've seen covering this case, which starts today, is by my man Techno. Travis is fantastic. Techno is amazing. I have his Substack linked in my newsletter today, bongino.com/newsletter. The Ghislaine Maxwell trial, which could involve some very big names, all of a sudden we're not seeing 24-hour media coverage. Why is that? Is it because some of those big names, one of them may be Bill Clinton? Well, let's go to Techno. Let's go to some of the screenshots from Techno's Substack piece. Let's go to screenshot number 1, where he talks about how the investigation into Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein and his alleged sexual abuse of young women and girls. What's going on with that case? Why aren't we hearing more? Here, screenshot 1. They talk about how, even though the full scope and details of the investigation, however, have not been made public, that this thing is still going on. It, quote, remains active, and they're investigating other, quote, possible co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein. They are. Really? Wow, that's interesting. Who were some of his co-conspirators? Why aren't we hearing about that? Were there other people involved? Was it not just allegedly Ghislaine Maxwell? Were there others involved as well, recruiting people, victims for Jeffrey Epstein? Remains active. Here's a question as a former investigator I'm asking here. Are they flipping people right now? Are they flipping other co-conspirators against others? And do they have a black book? Oh, I use that intentionally. A black book of names of very high-profile people involved in this case who they're not willing to give out right now, who may come out at trial? Is that why the media is keeping real quiet about this? They don't seem too interested. They flipping folks? Who else is involved in this? Why hasn't there been a plea deal offered? Do they not need a plea deal? Is this open and shut for them? We'll see. Here's why I think the media is extra quiet about this case, even though they're still fascinated by January 6th. Here's a witness statement in the case against Jeffrey Epstein and the allegations of sexual abuse of young women and girls. Notice this. Here's a screenshot from it. Hat tip Techno again as well. The witness said, hey, when you asked him, why is Bill Clinton here? Where was he? On the island, the witness said. When you were present with Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton on the island, who else was there? Ghislaine, Emmy, and there were 2 young girls I could identify. I never really knew them well anyway. It was just 2 girls from New York. So Bill Clinton was on Jeffrey Epstein's island with 2 young girls from New York, according to a witness. Is this why the case remains suspiciously out of the public light, despite the fact that it is one of the most high-profile investigations we've seen involving a connected political figure in a long time? Seems like the kind of thing you'd write books about. Seems like the kind of thing that would act like clickbait for the media. They would love a story like that, but they're real quiet. They're real quiet. Waukesha massacre seems to have disappeared out of the media landscape because it's not a helpful narrative for them. The Maxwell case, no talk at all. Does that involve Bill Clinton? We'll see, I guess, won't we? It's Ghislaine Maxwell. What's she going to say on the stand? Remember, they said the case remains active, folks. That's not by accident there. Remains active, meaning they're still investigating other people. Are they going to give up Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein? What about Bill Clinton? Here's another interesting part of the case from Technofog Substack here. What about this black book? Sounds like a potential witness list or a potential perp list to me. From the Substack, we also observed that the government will introduce testimony from a currently unknown Epstein employee. Oh, really? To authenticate Epstein's black book of names and numbers. Oh, Media's not interested in that? So a former Epstein insider, an employee, is going to turn government witness here. They're going to introduce testimony from this he or her, we don't know, and is going to authenticate Epstein's black book of names and numbers. Were these other people involved in the sexual abuse of women and young girls? These are some serious allegations here. How many other people were involved? Who else is in that black book? Listen, I don't give a damn about your party affiliation. You're involved in this case, you're going down on this show. Here's the most interesting part of the whole thing, where I'm going to add some of my sources. I got from a good source a long time ago that Epstein may have had some involvement with the intel services of numerous governments, and that there may be video of Jeffrey Epstein on this plane that Jeffrey Epstein himself may not know about. Really? Yeah, really. Jeffrey Epstein may not have known there was video on his plane. Well, we'll see about that. But here, Techno includes this. This is, again, what I find to be the most interesting angle to this is Jeffrey Epstein was given a sweetheart deal a long time ago on charges that were levied against him. Why was he given a sweetheart deal? Was it because Jeffrey Epstein's been working with some foreign governments and intel services for a while? Why was that? A lot of people are asking that question. Let me read this from Technofog Substack. This will blow your mind. What questions are still unanswered? The extent of Epstein's relationship with the U.S. government. Vicky Ward of Rolling Stone was told that Epstein's dealings in the arms world in the 1980s had led him to work for multiple governments, including the Israelis. Ward's sources say that Epstein was known in the intelligence world as a hyperfixer, someone who can go between different cultures and networks. Epstein himself was alleged to have said he worked with the government to recover stolen funds. What Epstein did for the U.S. government, perhaps other governments, as we've previously discussed, is essential knowledge because these answers would likely inform why Epstein was given a sweetheart deal approved by Main Justice in Washington, D.C. Why isn't the media covering this trial? Maybe because some big names connected to their swampy ecosystem, maybe media names themselves, who knows? Maybe part of that black book. Maybe getting dimed out in court right now by one of Epstein's own employees. They're ready to authenticate the black book of names. Who's in there? Democrat politicians in there too? Republicans? Who knows? Does this involve intel services as well? What was Epstein doing? Is there video? In the coming days, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get answers to all these questions, and they're not going to be pretty. But the media, the media, by the way, has largely iced this case out. I just want to dispel one myth, though, quickly, because, again, we do facts here, unlike the journalist brigade of losers and liars and fraudsters. Courts were not banned from cameras weren't banned from the courtroom in a media blackout. I want to be clear. That story's going around. It's not true. The federal rules prohibit cameras in the courtroom. So I do believe the media is icing this case out. But I don't think there's a conspiracy by the judge to keep the cameras out of the courtroom. It's just a federal rule. If I learn different, I'll tell you. But I'm not going to speculate, recklessly. I want to make sure we stick to the facts. I don't want to get lost like we have in the past when people spin yarns to get, views on their shows, and then we get lost from the real thing. Was Bill Clinton involved? Who's in the damn black book? Who's the employee? Are they authenticating the black book? Was Epstein working with intel services? These are real questions. They're real questions, and they're important ones. All right. Just some quick breaking news. I'm going to get to my second spot, and then here's what I got coming up. The fear porn is on again with Omicron. It sounds like a Decepticon from the Transformers. Omicron's back. We're all going to die. I'm going to explain to you my Walking Dead theory again, what's really going on, Fauci squirming, and some research that came out this week and some kind of news about me, which you probably figured out already. One other quick bit of breaking news. This morning, it came out that Jack Dorsey may be stepping down from Twitter, which is really interesting timing for Dorsey to leave Twitter. I don't know if that has anything to do with the pressure on him to not be in charge of Square and Twitter at the same time. And they're probably going to appoint some other left-wing lunatic anyway. So I don't think any of that stuff, really matters. I don't think it's going to change. What I'm getting at, better said, is I don't think it's going to change the ideological course of of Twitter, which is to the left at all. All right, today's show also brought to you by iTarget. Everyone's talking about self-defense these days. The most important element is training. Train all the time. If you're looking for the perfect gift that'll accomplish just that, check out my friends at itargetpro.com. That's the letter I, itargetpro.com. This revolutionary system allows you to dry fire practice with your actual firearm in the comfort, safety, and privacy of your own home. The cost of ammo is through the roof. Trips to the range can be inconvenient. With iTarget's proprietary app, they'll send you a laser round. Combine the two, and you start your training experience right there. You just load the laser round into the firearm you have now, and you dry fire train. Now it emits a laser onto a target. You download the app, and now you know where the rounds would have landed. It is the best training tool for firearms marksmanship I have ever seen, hands down. Dry fire training will help you develop muscle memory, sharpen your sight picture, your sight alignment, your stance, grip, everything. iTarget Pro comes in all the major calibers, including .223 for your AR, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Your proficiency will go through the roof. Go to itargetpro.com right now and save 10% plus get free shipping with the offer code Dan. This is the smartest way for you to practice. Pays for itself in one day. That's the letter itargetpro.com, itargetpro.com. They'll send you the laser round. You get the proprietary app. You get the target, itargetpro.com. Offer code Dan. Check it out. Thanks, iTarget. Folks, here we go again with the fear porn. Everyone, not you in my audience. I don't mean this in any way disrespectful towards you, but to the liberal lunatics and media people who watch this show, and believe me, there are a lot of them. I get your nasty grams and death threats all the time. Everybody, calm the F down. Pardon my language. Calm down. Calm down about Decepticon, Optimus Prime, Omicron. Calm down. Holy Moses, the fear porn campaigns. What have I been warning you about forever? Fear is the coin of the realm for the left. No one, listen to me, horse blinders, nobody gives up their freedom voluntarily. It's at the point now where these crazed leftist lunatics and fear porn merchants, they're enjoying this thing. Every single time there's a new variant, there's another reason to restrict your actions further. First, you lock down your business. Then you had to wear a mask. Then you had to get a vaccine. Then you got to get a booster. They're loving this. They don't want this thing to end. This is crazy. Everybody calm down. Science, reason, logic will win the day. Calm down. Here is right now, the most dangerous public policy expert, with air quotes, we have had in office in decades, opening his yapper again. Are we going to have to lock down? The lockdowns didn't work last time. Here is crazy Fauci again saying, well, I don't know, maybe let's just hang out and check this out, despite the fact the lockdowns have done nothing. Here, listen to this.
Should we expect to be seeing more lockdowns again, new lockdowns, more mandates?
I don't know, George. It's really too early to say. We just really need to, as I've said so often, prepare for the worst.
There you go, folks. Here we go again. Anthony Fauci, the Walking Dead guy. You know The Walking Dead? I've used this analogy all the time. Why do socialists, leftists, liberal lunatics, and media people, why are they enjoying the ongoing fear porn campaigns? Omicron, Decepticon, Bumblebee. Who's the next Transformer coming out? Why are they trying to scare the hell out of you? Because they can evaporate your freedoms away every single day. Remember the Walking Dead episode where the survivors of the zombie apocalypse, they find this prison. They're like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing. They go in the prison and they think it's so secure in there because the zombies are on the outside and they're inside in the prison. This is what they're doing to you now. Don't you see it? They're having you voluntarily walk in to an ideological prison. They're going to lock the door behind you because you'll think you're safer inside, because outside there's Omicron and Delta and Alpha and Mu and Nu and every Greek letter of the alphabet, just not G because we don't want to offend the Chinese. It's outside. Just stay in the prison and listen to us. And who are the prison guards? They are. Folks, it's the same thing every time. Same thing every single time. Infections start to ebb. New variant, triple boost, quadruple boosters. Shut your mouth. Why do I say everybody calm down? Please, please. Folks, here's an article in Western Journal. It'll be in my newsletter today. The symptoms of Omicron, according to a health professional in South Africa, where it's become, where it's moving around a little bit. They're unusual, but mild. Please, I'm begging you, please stop falling for this. I know you and my listening audience aren't. I know it. But please, even to the Democrats out there, you are ruining this country over an unnecessary, hysterical, insane fear porn campaign led by this guy, the clown prince of public health, Fauci. I don't know. Lockdowns, we'll see. You have to check that out. Who is this guy? He's given himself a scepter and a crown and anointed himself the monarch. Here's Fauci again. Watch him uncomfortably laugh when being called out for basically being a fear porn merchant by Ted Cruz. Watch him laugh uncomfortably and then go full political activist attacking Ted Cruz for, you guessed it, he doesn't bring up Waukesha, Ghislaine Maxwell, anything. Fauci himself, a public health professional who I have no respect for at all. None. Watch him go full activist mode and attack Ted Cruz for January 6th. Check this out.
Senator Cruz told the Attorney General you should be prosecuted.
Yeah. I have to laugh at that. I should be prosecuted. What happened on January 6th, Senator?
There's Fauci, full activist, full-on liberal political activist now. This guy's not to be taken seriously. He is a joke. He is a joker and a clown. He's always been a clown from the start. You need more evidence? Here's Fauci in the same interview with one of the most, and believe me, in Fauci terms, this is saying a lot, one of the most disgraceful things I've ever heard him say. If you now question Fauci at all, you're not questioning a human being, you're questioning science. Because Fauci says, because I represent science. You do? Because I got a supercut coming up next showing how your science seems to be all over the place. So if you represent science and you take position A, then position B, well, which one was science, A or B? Wait till you hear the supercut coming up next of Fauci taking every position on just about every topic of prominence. But first, here's Fauci claiming, you attack me, you're attacking science. No, we're going after you because we believe in science. Check this out.
To me, that's unbelievably bad because all I want to do is save people's lives. And I mean, anybody who's looking at this carefully realizes that there's a distinct anti-science flavor to this. So if they get up and criticize science, nobody's going to know what they're talking about. But if they get up and really aim their bullets at Tony Fauci, well, people could recognize there's a person there. So it's easy to criticize, but they're really criticizing science because I represent science.
Folks, authentic people want to be challenged. I've said it on this show often about me. What do I say? You've heard it. You listen. You're here. You know what happens. I say to you all the time, and I'll say again, fact check this show. Do your own homework. Don't take my word for it. Not because I don't trust what I put out in the show. No, because I do trust it. And I want you to place the trust in me I've placed in you. I'm not building a house of cards here. I'm building it on a fortress of concrete. The only way to establish that trust that me and you are spending time together every day that matters is for you to believe what I'm telling you is based in facts and reality. When we get it wrong, we'll correct it. But anyone like Fauci, who when you question them, goes off on these tangents and attacks the people who are questioning him. You're attacking science. You're attacking this. Anyone who does that, anyone, I urge the strongest of caution. I'll get to that in a second again with Lynn Wood. You ever notice how you question them? I tell you to question me. You question them. These false gods, they all fall apart. Here's Fauci right here. Here's a supercut of Anthony Fauci taking the opposite side of each position. So if this is science, which position is true? Check this out.
Are we safe to fly? Many of us are going on trips. We're all going to the Super Bowl. Is that safe?
Yes, of course. And I think I'm glad you asked me that question. Right now, the risk to Americans is really low, and it could really explode into something much bigger. I hope it doesn't. We're preparing ourselves for that. But right now, you're right. The risk of getting into a real problem with influenza is much greater than the risk of this new virus in the United States.
There have been estimates of hundreds of thousands of people in the U.S. who could die, or in the worst case scenario, millions. Can you tell the American people that that is possible?
You know, it's possible because when you do a model, you have a worst case scenario, the best case scenario, and the reality is how you react to that will depend where you're going to be on that curve.
So, Dr. Fauci, it's Saturday morning in America. People are waking up right now with real concerns about this. They want to go to malls and movies, maybe the gym as well. Should we be changing our habits? And if so, how?
No, right now, at this moment, there is no need to change anything that you're doing on a day-by-day basis. Right now, the risk is still low, but this could change. We have to make sure we don't forget that the most important thing is to keep this 6-foot physical distance from individuals.
Dr. Fauci, if the most vulnerable group is the elderly right now, we're seeing all of these school closures around the country. Is that the right move for children and families?
Well, I think it should be done in a proportionate way. And I think what's going on right now is generally an appropriate approach. As a fundamental principle, I do agree that we should try as best as we possibly can to get the children back to school because of the well-documented, secondary downstream ripple effects that are negative, particularly on parents and on the children when you keep them out of schools.
Folks, beware of anyone who does this. Anyone who, when you question them, goes on the counterattack mode rather than trying to explain away why their logic and their reason doesn't seem to be logical or reasonable. Fauci does this all the time. He never addresses the criticism of his 30 different positions on 47 different topics. He only attacks the messengers. Linwood did that to me this weekend, which is typical. I'm not surprised. I'll get to that in a second, but just a quick note. So for those of you wondering what's been going on the last week with me, I've been getting a lot of questions. I want to be sure before I told you, but you're my audience and you deserve the truth. So I had COVID. It was obviously, given my vaccine history, I've spoken about it, was obviously a breakthrough case. Listen, I can't speak for anyone else. I don't claim to, but I can speak for myself because I know those facts because it's me. So it was not a mild case. It was actually a pretty painful case. So I don't know what the other cases are, these breakthrough cases. I can't speak to them. I can only speak to myself. But my last vaccination was on March 25th. I had the Pfizer vaccine, and the case, I know where I got it. I'm reasonably confident the person I came into contact with. But it was not a mild case. It was a pretty awful case. I took some screenshots of my that Oura ring that measures your body temperature and everything to show how bad it was. It was about 103.5 fever, chills. It was pretty ugly. So I've been getting a lot of questions. So that's what's been going on. That's why I've been isolated here for a while now. And that's why the show looks a little different. Not the background. It's the same studio, but we haven't been able to have people around for obvious reasons. It's not the responsible thing to do. I got a lot of questions, though. Some people figured it out. I hammered through the shows last week because I felt the need to be here. I wasn't feeling great last Monday, but by Tuesday and Wednesday, I was doing okay. It was good to get some time off. But a lot of people asked who figured it out, how did you get better so quick? Well, listen, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to prescribe you anything. I worked with a doctor, though, and I took the antibodies, the monoclonal antibodies, and I can tell you within 36 hours, I felt better. I also took ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C, quercetin, fenofibrate. So I took a cocktail. I took a baby aspirin as well. I took melatonin at night. I'm not going to correlate or make causal inferences about any of that. It was on a doctor's advice. I'm just telling you within 36 hours, I was largely better. And the breakthrough case for me was not mild at all. It was one of the worst things I've ever experienced. But I'm telling you, because I will never lie to you, that in 36 hours, I felt better. It was enough for me to get back on the air on Monday. So for those of you asking, that's what happened. So it was not a mild case. You can still hear me coughing a little bit. So I appreciate it. Now, just to address Linwood, listen, I don't have a lot of time to get into a back and forth with this guy. I'm just telling you that, Linwood is evidence again of what happens when you speak in facts and people speak in personal attacks. I had addressed Linwood, the Kyle Rittenhouse interview and other things. Linwood then threatened to sue. Just go ahead, Lynn. Don't talk. Just go ahead and sue, please. Stop wasting everybody's time with nonsense. You know that's nonsense. You're a defamation lawyer. You're going to humiliate yourself. Go ahead and do that. You know what the best, by the way, defense in a defamation case anyone ever told you is? The truth. So here's the interesting thing about Linwood, who decided to attack me personally for putting it. So just to be clear, me, Gorka, Posobiec, all of us, we're all crazy, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene, we're all nuts. Everyone out there who's reported on this. And yes, Linwood is in fact the one on the top of the moral totem pole. Listen, you think I wouldn't have won on the air with that if I didn't have the receipts to back it up? By the way, I got more on that coming. But Linwood on his Telegram channel has decided to continue to attack me. Here, check this out. So I had to look at a search engine this morning. This is how crazy this has gotten. Does anyone other than the CIA, this is Lynn's Telegram channel, know anything about the relationship between Dan Bongino and Sean Bridges? Asking for a friend. Folks, I had to put in a search engine who Sean Bridges was. Should have asked the CIA. CIA, listen, can you tell me about that relationship? So I'm going to issue a challenge. Let's put Linwood to the task. For those of you who still believe in this guy, stunningly, who makes lobs charges, can never be questioned. When you question him, he attacks the messenger. I tell you to question me every single time. I've got the receipts to back it up. Believe me, I got more coming, right? Yet you question Linwood, and Linwood says the CIA and Dan Bongino are in collusion with whatever, Sean Bridges? I had to look up who that was. Apparently he was a Secret Service agent who got indicted for some Bitcoin scheme or something like that. I had to look the guy up. So I'm going to issue a challenge to Linwood. He's a defamation lawyer, right? Let's see because those of you who still believe in him, let's see who's got the guts. I'll tell you what, Lynn, you put down in your Telegram in writing today your hard evidence that I have any connection whatsoever outside of having been in the Secret Service, and this guy was a Secret Service agent apparently. Let's put down in writing your case. Make it to all your people in writing. No talking, in writing. I want to see it in writing on your Telegram, my connection to Sean Bridges, who I had to look up in a search engine today to find out who it was. Then we'll talk about defamation, right? Let's see who's got the guts. Let's see you put it down and see, folks, Linwood isn't stupid. He's a very smart, conniving guy. Linwood won't put down in writing his fictitious CIA scheme. I'm a deep state operative, deep stater. Wrote 4 books exposing the deep state. It's my plot, though, to get the deep state. Let's see you put it down in writing, Lynn. Grow a pair, huh? Put it down in writing. Let's see who's got a real defamation case. Let's see. He won't do it. He'll throw a bunch of stuff. The CIA, deep state, Dan Bongino. That's all he does every time. Meanwhile, I tell you to question me. Keep believing in this guy. Unreal. Unbelievable. The deep state. Yeah, ran for office 3 times as a Republican against the deep state and wrote 4 books. That's right, to advance the deep state. That makes a lot of sense. Perfect. Oh, gosh. All right. Let me get to my third sponsor here and get back to the show. I got a lot more to get to, important stuff. Today's show also brought to you by Omaha. Hey, we're an Omaha Steaks household because the food is just darn good. Their ribeyes with the grill lines on them, there's nothing like them. You cut them with a plastic knife. Hey, the holidays are around the corner. Finding the perfect gift is tricky. Omaha Steaks makes it easy to send friends and family an unforgettable gift guaranteed to be loved. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter Bongino in the search bar to order the perfect gift package. For $99.99, you'll get 24 entrees like the world-famous bacon-wrapped filet mignons, the delicious chicken breast, their sides, desserts, and so much more. When you use code Bongino, you'll also get an additional 8 Omaha Steaks burgers free with your order. We've all heard the reports about shortages and shipping delays, so don't wait. Order the perfect gift package today at omahasteaks.com, and you'll get 8 free burgers when entering the code Bongino. Achieving gifting greatness with Omaha Steaks. Incredible flavor, incredible value, and 100% guaranteed. Go today. The food is delicious. We have been big fans for a very long time, even before we even lived in Florida, way before they were a sponsor of this show. omahasteaks.com. Use keyword Bongino. OmahaSteaks.com, keyword Bongino. The food is delicious, spectacular. The ribeyes are amazing. Their burgers are amazing. The chicken's amazing. OmahaSteaks.com, keyword Bongino. Okay, moving along. Sorry about that, folks. I don't mean to waste your time and stuff like that. But again, I find myself under attack by a lot of false gods, and then all their people jump in, and we get, maybe 50, 20 messages over the course of the week. Oh my gosh, you're attacking this guy. He's a wonderful man. He's okay, sure. Yeah, sure he is. I'm just making it all up, of course. Right. It's not you in the end. That's why I said I don't want to waste your time. All right, moving on to important stuff. Scott Atlas has an incredible book out right now called A Plague on Our House. I have a publishing relationship with it. I got a publishing company too, but there's an article in Zero Hedge today that's critical. It talks about this book and how Trump was consistently betrayed by the insiders inside the White House. The book addresses how Dr. Birx, how Fauci, I met Dr. Birx, and I got to tell you, I'm supremely disappointed that this scandal has not blown up yet. How Trump was constantly being pushed by these people to do things over and over again that just didn't work. The endless focus on masks, on new mandates, on closures and lockdowns. He was getting spun up by these people. Atlas is trying to tell the truth to him that this stuff doesn't work, and they're ignoring him. Folks, the media is getting people killed. Let me say for a moment here, I'm not going to say who, but a friend of mine from another state, she texted me last night. Her son's got a pre-existing condition prior to his infection with COVID, has COVID right now, but it's a serious condition. The son is in real danger. He is not an older man either. The relatively young guy is in real danger, is very sick from COVID right now. They can't get the antibodies to this kid. They can't get any kind of treatments like the ones I took. No one wants to hear anything. They would rather see this kid die. The media is hiding the truth from you about everything going on with COVID of significance. I told you, there are 2 approved narratives right now and 2 approved narratives only. Anything outside of that narrative, you will be laughed at and mocked. They don't even care if you die. Number 1, put your freaking mask on. They don't care that this doesn't do. It's done almost nothing. There's some mild evidence that masking, if you were sick, may reduce the ability for, if it's properly fitted, to spread it to others. There is no systemic, countrywide evidence that masking policies are widely correlated with a decrease in COVID. None. And yet they continue to push it. The second narrative is you will take the damn vaccine. I had a breakthrough case. of the vaccine. What about natural immunity? Funny how you're not going to hear anything about this huge major study that just came out. Just the news. John Solomon, you want to read it? Be in my newsletter today. COVID survivors with natural immunity at low risk for reinfection or severe symptoms, study finds. This was a huge study that natural immunity is strong. Why aren't you hearing more about it? Because what are the 2 approved narratives, folks? Wear your damn mask and get the vaccine and shut your mouth about anything else. Is that one of those 2 narratives? Nope. Natural immunity is strong. Do we know if it's lasting? We don't know that. Why? We've only been with COVID for 2 years. I give you the facts. I hope now that I am developing some natural immunity, I hope it lasts forever. I don't know that yet. I'm not going to lie to you like these media types. But it appears for now that natural immunity after recovering from a COVID-19 infection is robust and strong. Why aren't you hearing about it? Because it's not one of their approved narratives. And you find it convenient that both of the approved narratives both involve a mandate, mask mandates and vaccine mandates, and they all involve power. You're walking into an ideological prison. Sorry, Lucy, I just scared her. You're walking into an ideological prison. The Walking Dead hypothesis. They're getting you to give up your civil liberties out of fear. That's why they love these mandate narratives. Anything else will be shut down. The left can't even get their facts straight. I appreciate them coming on the show, but here was Nomiki Konst in the rebuttal segment, which I enjoy, folks. 80% of the reviews in the rebuttal have a 20%. Why you put these people on? Because I want to show you they just don't know anything and have a grasp of the data. On my show this weekend, Unfiltered, here's just a quick clip. I was debating Nomiki Konst, And I say to her at one point during this, she's trying to blame Trump again, which was just ridiculous. I had no time for it. For COVID deaths, I say to her, that's kind of weird because there have been more deaths from COVID since Trump left office than in 2020 combined. Kind of weird, right? That when Joe Biden was debating Donald Trump, do you remember when he said 220,000 deaths from COVID, Mr. President, under your watch? No one should be president with that number of deaths. You know how many people have died since Joe Biden's been in office? Get to that in a second, that screenshot. 350,000. No, Miki didn't know that. And she was confident that she didn't know it. Here, check this out. You kind of rebutted your own point in the rebuttal, which is the first time it's ever happened. You made a point trying to imply government debt is bad, and then went back to say, no, it's not bad. It's good when government spends. Well, what is it? Is debt bad when Donald Trump accumulates debt? I didn't mention. And Biden do? What is it?
No, the economy. What I'm saying is all of the things that Donald Trump did over the last 2 years are now piling on. The fact that he did not want to spend money on, he did not want to take the vaccine seriously, the mask seriously.
Miki,
Hundreds of thousands of people died because he didn't take it seriously. Workforces were shut down. Supply chain was shut down. Huge. All they want to do is ban people.
More have died
like we didn't have a pandemic in our country.
But hundreds of thousands more have died since Biden got. You just leave that all out. That's amazing.
And
there you go, folks. I appreciate her coming on. I let them air their viewpoint, but making my point again, they just don't know what they're talking about. And more people have died now and then all of 2020 combined. Nobody seems to be blaming Joe Biden in the media because it's not one of the approved narratives. Here, Wall Street Journal headline. Biden's COVID death milestone. More Americans have died of the virus in 2021 than in all of 2020. Got the data right there, folks. But let's keep doing the same thing. Let's keep trotting Dr. Fauci and this cabal that was giving Trump terrible information back in the White House to continue to do things that don't work. Mask mandates, vaccine mandates, lock the economy down. None of this is working. Now, the fact checkers say they believe in science, right? You've heard that? Well, what about this science? Daily Mail. You want to read this? Show this to your school boards. COVID rules are blamed for a 23% dive in young children's development. Disturbing study shows scores in 3 key cognitive tests slumped between 2018 and 2021, with face mask rules amongst the possible culprits. Are face masks destroying your kids' ability to learn? I don't know. Maybe correlated, may not be causal, but it's certainly something worth looking into because face masks have not been correlated with some dive in COVID rates. But it appears they are correlated with a decrease in cognitive test results. Does anybody care? Anyone at all? Just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And who helps them? Who helps them do this? The damn fact checkers, folks. They can't stop. The fact checkers and the lying media. It's so sad. And their social media three musketeers here. The fact checkers, the media, and social media, keeping you from the truth. I'm going to get to that in a second. I want to show you an article, a very important one, about how Facebook had shut down, in conjunction with the fact checkers and other people, any conversations about Rittenhouse whatsoever. And I want to talk to you about a Media Post article about how there's a new so-called study out there absolving the left of any role here, any role in promoting misinformation. And people fall for this stuff. And I've got a hilarious video from leftists trying to switch the conversation around on inflation, which is just nutty. All right. I had a good night's sleep last night, thanks to my friends at Boll & Branch. Hey, this Cyber Week, Boll & Branch is offering their best deal of the entire year. And if last night's sleep wasn't incredible, their sheets will make all the difference. With Boll & Branch, you can get the best sleep of your life with their high-quality organic cotton sheets. Folks, they're like buttery, soft sheets, and the more you wash them, the better they get. You're buying some today, right? She is. I'm not kidding. She's over there buying. She's buying it right now. I'm not joking because we need some more. I sweated through a lot of the Boll & Branch sheets last week, so we got to get some more. Husband and wife team Scott and Missy Tannen founded Boll & Branch to create a new standard in bedding by doing things the right way, not the easy way. Boll & Branch holds themselves to high standards across the board, from sourcing pure organic cotton to putting workers' rights first. It's not just their sheets that are made the right way. Their pillows, bath towels, and robes are too. The signature hem sheets are their all-time bestsellers. They're beloved for many reasons, like how they get softer with every single wash. I can personally vouch for that. Buttery soft, lightweight, super comfortable. It's been the last few weeks I've needed a comfortable bed. Lightweight, made with 100% organic cotton weave that feels incredible in all seasons. This Cyber Week, gift your loved ones the best sleep of their lives or treat yourself with these fantastic Boll & Branch sheets. Their holiday packaging are famously soft sheets, blankets, pillows, and more make a difference everyone will feel. And like I said, they get better over time. Mine are incredible. Get 25% off from November 23rd through December 2nd with their best offer of the year at bollandbranch.com. That's 25% off at Boll, B-O-L-L. It's B-O-L-L. Bollandbranch.com, bollandbranch.com. Exclusions may apply. Check them out. All right, thanks, Boll & Branch. So, this Media Post article really bothered me. This is what the media does. These Media Posts, folks, I'll show you the article up in the newsletter today if you want to read it, Bongino.com/newsletter. They're trying to claim that there's a new study out there claiming that liberals don't spread misinformation at a high rate, that it's largely conservatives that do this. They ignore reality there, and they do this all the time. This is kind of part of the symbiote here. So just to be clear how this operation is working against you to make sure you never get the facts and you're gaslit. People lie, they lie often, they isolate you from the truth. What they do is media, social media, liberal politicians, and academic research institutions work together to try and portray this narrative that conservatives are a source of disinformation, which you know is absolutely false. It is 100% incorrect. Absolutely false. False. It is the liberals that spread the collusion hoax, the Hunter Biden Russian disinformation nonsense, that Rittenhouse was guilty and a white supremacist before he was even tried, the Nick Sandmann case, the Stephen Hatfield case. The list goes on and on, the Jussie Smollett case. You get it. Now, there's an interesting article in the New York Post today about how Facebook and their employees, that they relish the power of being able to control the national narrative. And by doing it, they are getting people to believe misinformation. And the misinformation is almost exclusively on the left. Here's the New York Post editorial board. Facebook declared Kyle Rittenhouse guilty, silencing his defense in the court of public opinion. Quote, but Facebook's staff just couldn't resist choosing a side. As one employee put it in internal discussions obtained by the Post, employees are drunk on the absolute power of being in control of civics in America without ever having to visit a voting booth if voting is even an option. This is why I've said to you often, the gaslighting will never stop until something is done to stop these companies from gaslighting America. They kept you from information. People still believe to this day, the leftists, that collusion was real. Rittenhouse was a domestic terrorist white supremacist. Hunter Biden's case was Russian disinformation. They are the misinformation specialists, and they do it in conjunction with Facebook and these academic institutions who only define misinformation when it involves what they believe to be conservatives. It's all a scam, folks, to shut you down. It's all a scam. All right, I want to play this video for you. Let the gaslighting begin as well. The gaslighting will continue on inflation, too. The Democrats are panicking over inflation. Why? Because everybody feels it. When politics kicks you in the grapefruits, all of a sudden, everything becomes local, even national issues like inflation, right? People are paying more. People can't buy food anymore. People are starting to realize Joe Biden has presided over the worst case of inflation we've seen in 3 decades in this economy. So the gaslighting's begun, folks. Lie often, isolate people from the truth, lie confidently. That's what you have to do in gaslighting. So the left's new narrative is going to be this. It's not the money printing. It's not the lack of productivity. It's not that. Folks, don't worry. This is from More Perfect Union, some left-leaning outlet here. Here's part of their video saying, no, it's not all that stuff. It's this other thing. It's definitely corporate greed that's doing it, folks. Corporate greed, folks, just emerged right now. We haven't had corporate greed ever. It just started under the Biden administration, which is kind of weird. Maybe they know Biden's a greedy grifter and corporations decided to, what's good for the goose, what's good for the gander, right? Here, check this crazy video out.
Do you feel like the prices of normal things you buy every day are going up? Well, supposedly we can thank
rising inflation.
The main thing is inflation.
The American people are facing the highest inflation in more than 10 years.
Chicken, eggs, meat.
A pound of steak is up by $2. A pound of bacon costs over $7. $7 bacon.
So what happened? The official inflation story in the media goes like this. Workers are demanding too much money. Costs of raw materials and transportation are going up. And the Biden administration has pumped too much money into the economy. But that's not the full picture. There's something that corporate America doesn't want you to know.
All right, that was more perfect union. I saw that on social media. Trying to, again, gaslight you along with Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, and others who are claiming the massive inflation crisis now is due to just, interestingly enough, a growth spurt in greed under the Biden administration, which, as I said on Fox and Friends this morning, that narrative one is total BS, but would make sense. I mean, Joe Biden's family's full of grifters and greedy losers. So maybe corporate America's like, hey, you know what? Again, good for the goose gander. Let's try that too, the whole greed thing. That is not what's doing this, ladies and gentlemen, the inflation crisis. You want to do facts? We do facts here. If Biden's inspired greed, by the way, as the Wall Street Journal points out in this James Freeman op-ed, then why is it just happening now? Here, Wall Street Journal, the Biden era of greed, Democrats' inflation excuses lead to inconvenient conclusions. The Democrats seem to have a tough case to make in seeking to blame price hikes on business. But let's say they are successful in persuading consumers that surging inflation is actually a barometer of corporate behavior. Then they have to explain why the Biden era is characterized by such a historic surge in greed. Has Mr. Biden inspired selfishness to reach its highest levels in 31 years? Anybody else asking that question? Or is this just BS? That's BS. Everyone's greedy, folks. Government, corporations, everyone. None of that has changed. It's not a knock on corporations. It's not a knock on people in government per se. It's a knock on human nature. We're all greedy. Many to a greater extent than some others. Many of those people find themselves in politics. Many find themselves in corporate America. But folks, there's no question amongst reasonable and sane people what's leading to this inflation crisis now, and it is not greed. It is very simply, we printed a lot of money to chase products that don't exist. You need the evidence to back it up? Look at this chart by AIER. Do these money supply charts pretend hyperinflation? Look at the charts, folks. We have printed and digitally created more money than we have in human history. Quote, look at the chart. These factors led to a huge jump in the broader money supply. Figure 1 shows the 12-month changes in M2 since 1982. In 2020, M2, it's a measure of the money supply, increased by almost $4 trillion. By far, the largest expansion in U.S. history, folks. Look at the chart. Is that a greed chart? No, that's a money printing chart. That's not a greed chart. By the way, the source of that chart, the Federal Reserve. Money printing up. Well, what happens when you print a lot of money and you don't have a lot of products? More money chases fewer products. Dan, you have evidence to back that up? Oh, yeah, I do. AP headline. Nomiki missed this one, too, on our debate. Productivity down 4.2%. Largest decline in nearly 40 years. So we're supposed to believe it's corporate greed. Yet Joe Biden gets in office. The money supply is now exploding. It's up, the money supply up the most we've ever seen in human history, right? The stuff we're producing has gone down by the most in 40 years. But yeah, definitely greed, folks. It's greed. The greed did it. Nothing to do with more money chasing fewer products. Well, what about workers? You're clearly benefiting from this inflation, right? More money running around. You're getting more of it. Nah, wrong. Wrong there, too. Wrong-a-rooski. Fox Business article. Workers take a pay cut as inflation erodes wage gains. Your wages are down 2.2%. Well, Dan, it's those dastardly greedsters in corporate America. They're paying less for their products and charging us more. Wrong again. AP. Producer prices rise 8.6%, matching September's record high. That's greed, folks. Greed. Greed did it. Even if that stupidity were true, again, you should start asking the question the journal's asking. Why is greed so unprecedented now in the Biden era? Ladies and gentlemen, inflation is and everywhere a monetary phenomenon, to quote Milton Friedman. When you have 100 products, let's say, for the sake of even numbers, and $100. Each product could, by simple math, fetch $1 if everyone bought one. If you then print $1,000, that is $10 chasing each product because there's only 100. Now, if you were to increase the products by 1,000, then the product would stay $1. The price wouldn't go down, wouldn't go up. We're not doing that. We're productivity. We're producing less stuff and printing more money to chase it. That's why the prices are going up and your wages are going down. Please don't believe the lies. Please. Fact check everything. Me too. It matters. Appreciate it, folks. Please subscribe to my Rumble account. Our account's been exploding. We're almost at 2 million subscribers. I would deeply appreciate it. You can watch the video version of the show. A lot of helpful elements, including the chart today of inflation and the money supply going up. It's Rumble, R-U-M-B-L-E, rumble.com/Bongino, rumble.com/Bongino. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks again, folks. I'll see you on the radio later.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show.